Whenever you'd like to start.
All right, thanks. So hi, my name is Isabella, and today I want to talk to you a little about Hamlet. Not the play, that would be a much longer presentation, but just the character. I want to talk about one of the most considered questions about Hamlet as a character, at least from my experience, which would be Hamlet's sanity. Is he mad? Is he going mad? Is he not mad? Is this all part of his sheen? And I'd like to argue that to write Hamlet off as simply mad is a cop-out. It allows us to dismiss what he says as the ravings of a madman, but you can't dismiss the importance of madness within the play, Hamlet's or otherwise, and the effect on his character. Rather than focus on whether Hamlet is mad, Theodore Litz makes a very interesting point in his book Madness and Myth in Hamlet, that madness is the means that Shakespeare used to convey the disillusion and despair that pervades the characters, and leads them to rash and self-destructive acts and express the dissolution of their world. Hamlet is a character living in the shadow of insanity, whether it's his own, Ophelia's, the circumstances of the situation. As a man of words, this leads him to disillusionment and inaction, to be crippled by introspection, and when he does act, he acts recklessly, and he gives himself over to insanity. So for today, we just read the intro in Act 1. What do we know about Hamlet from Act 1? Hamlet's very sassy. He's smart, he's a student at Wittenberg. He's definitely not over his father's death. Why should he be? His father's dead for 2 months. Leading to the fact that he's not too happy about his mom getting married to his uncle. So then Act 1, Scene 2, lines 156 and 157, almost wicked speed to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. He's not happy about how fast this happened. He's not happy because he thinks it's incestuous. And then Hamlet talks to Horatio. He sees his father's ghost. He swears revenge. And this is the point when Hamlet's madness really becomes part of the play, because he tells Horatio and Marcellus that he's going to put on an antic disposition. He tells them that right there. After this point, people start to notice it, people start to question it. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern come up. And I'd like to briefly talk about Oxford English Dictionary's definition of madness, or a couple of them actually. The first one being imprudence, delusion, and foolishness resembling insanity. Which I guess you could say resembling insanity. Delusions maybe not, because everyone else has seen the ghost. That's probably not Hamlet's delusion. The second one being insanity, mental illness, or impairment of a severe kind, or psychosis. There are some theories that actually go as far to say that Shakespeare wanted to use this play to explore mental illness. There's this idea at the time of melancholia, which is pretty much the umbrella term for any mental disorder at the time, depression, schizophrenia, anything. So the kind of insights he has about madness, first of all, that no one blames witchcraft, the humors or sin for Hamlet's madness. They all think it's something that happened within his surroundings. The second point being, there's the opposition of Hamlet's madness to Ophelia's madness. Nobody ever questions Ophelia's madness. They're definitely very different types of insanity. That was just an interesting point. That has very little to do with Hamlet. The third is wild excitement or enthusiasm, ecstasy, exuberance, or lack of restraint. If there is one thing you can say about Hamlet, it is not that he has lack of restraint. Hamlet is a man of thought. He's definitely not a man of action. He's a scholar, he's a philosopher, he's a humanist. And these things are definitely darkened by either his own insanity or the insanity around him. But it's really brought out his inaction by his foils, especially Laertes and Fortinbras. They're both the avenging sons. Fortinbras is a prince, probably, acts a little bit before he thinks in terms of stuff. Laertes, it takes 5 acts for Hamlet to revenge. It takes Laertes an act and a half. They both, are avenging dead fathers. They have to return to the country in secret to do so. I kind of spoiled it, but I'm pretty sure everyone discussed his writing before. So. I would also like to argue that Ophelia herself is a foil for Hamlet, because she's able to do something that he is not capable of doing, that he talks about doing. I guess I won't spoil that one. In terms of insanity being an expression of disillusionment and despair, you can definitely see this within Hamlet's character. If you take all of the soliloquies out of the play, you lose very little about the plot. It's all about him. It's about his own